Number 10, the Audi Q7, specifically 2007 to 2015 models. And this luxury SUV has some serious concerns once it reaches higher mileage. The main problem centers on the timing chain tensioner system in both the 3.6-liter V6 and supercharged 3.0-liter V6 engines. The timing chain tensioner is the component that keeps proper tension on the chain connecting the crankshaft to the camshaft. When this fails, the timing chain can skip or break, causing the pistons to collide with the valves. That results in catastrophic engine damage. According to reliability data, this issue becomes increasingly common after 100,000 miles. Owner reports indicate that approximately 30% of these engines experience timing-related problems before 120,000 miles. Consumer Reports gave the 2010 Q7 a reliability rating of just 2 out of 5, citing engine problems as a primary concern. The repair costs are substantial. Replacing the timing chain tensioner system requires removing the front of the engine, and you're looking at $4,000 to $6,500 depending on which engine you have. If the chain actually breaks and damages the valves, that repair jumps to $8,000 to $12,000. These are dealership-required repairs in most cases because independent shops often lack the specialized tools. What makes this worse is that the air suspension system also tends to fail around the same mileage. Air suspension replacement runs $1,500 to $2,500 per corner, and you typically need to replace at least 2 corners at once. Combined annual maintenance costs for a Q7 after 100,000 miles average around $2,200, according to repair cost data, which is nearly double what you'd spend on a Lexus GX in the same category. But as expensive as that is, number 9 takes the ownership costs even higher.
Number 9. The Maserati Quattroporte, 2004 to 2012 models. This Italian luxury sedan looks stunning, but the reliability story after 100,000 miles is concerning. The biggest issue involves the transmission, specifically the ZF 6-speed automatic that Maserati used in these models. This transmission experiences internal clutch pack failure, valve body problems, and torque converter issues. When the transmission starts slipping or refusing to shift properly, you're not looking at a simple fluid change or minor repair. Reliability data shows that approximately 40% of these transmissions require major service or replacement before 110,000 miles. Consumer Reports didn't even rate many Quattroporte model years due to insufficient reliability data, which itself signals problems. When a car is so unreliable that owners trade them in quickly, there aren't enough long-term owners to provide ratings. A transmission rebuild on a Quattroporte costs between $7,000 and $10,000. If you need a complete replacement with a remanufactured unit, you're looking at $12,000 to $15,000, including labor. These aren't repairs your local transmission shop can handle because Maserati uses proprietary software and specialized procedures. Beyond the transmission, these cars suffer from electrical gremlins that become more frequent after 100,000 miles. Window regulators fail repeatedly at $800 to $1,200 per window. The navigation and infotainment system crashes frequently, requiring dealer updates at $200 to $400 per visit. Door lock actuators fail at $600 to $900 per door. It's a pattern of expensive small repairs that add up quickly. Annual maintenance costs for a Quattroporte after 100,000 miles average $3,200 according to repair cost analysis, and that doesn't include the major transmission work most owners face. Parts availability is another concern, with some components taking weeks to arrive from Italy. This next one has a problem most buyers don't discover until it's too late. Number 8. The BMW X5, specifically the 2007 to 2013 models with the N55 turbocharged inline-6 engine. This popular luxury SUV has concerning reliability issues once mileage climbs. The primary problem is the high-pressure fuel pump, which is a common failure point on BMW's turbocharged engines. This pump pressurizes fuel to the precise levels the direct injection system requires. When it fails, the engine runs rough, loses power, or won't start at all. BMW issued a warranty extension for this issue on some models, which tells you how widespread the problem became. Owner reports indicate that approximately 35% of these engines experience high-pressure fuel pump failure between 80,000 and 120,000 miles. The problem is that metal shavings from the failing pump circulate through the fuel system, contaminating the injectors and potentially damaging other components. Replacing just the high-pressure fuel pump costs $1,500 to $2,200, including labor. But if metal contamination damaged the fuel injectors, you're adding another $2,000 to $3,500 for a complete set of 6 injectors. Total repair bills can reach $4,000 to $5,700 when everything is addressed properly. These repairs require dealer-level diagnostic equipment in most cases. The turbocharger itself also becomes a concern after 100,000 miles. Turbo replacement on the N55 engine runs $3,000 to $4,500. Oil leaks from the valve cover and oil filter housing gasket are nearly inevitable, costing $800 to $1,500 to address. The transfer case, which distributes power in the all-wheel drive system, develops leaks in internal wear, with replacement costing $3,500 to $5,000. According to reliability data, annual maintenance costs for an X5 of this generation after 100,000 miles average around $2,800. That's before any major component failures. The combination of common problems makes this a risky purchase once mileage climbs. As expensive as that turbo and fuel system work is, number 7 costs even more annually.
Number 7. The Jaguar XJ, 2010 to 2015 models. This British luxury sedan offers impressive performance and distinctive styling, but ownership costs after 100,000 miles are concerning. The main issue centers on the 5.0-liter V8 engine's timing chain system. Similar to other luxury brands, Jaguar's timing chain tensioners and guides wear prematurely. The plastic chain guides break down, allowing the chain to stretch and potentially skip timing. This engine is an interference design, meaning piston-to-valve contact will occur if timing is lost. Reliability studies show that approximately 25% of these engines require timing chain service before 120,000 miles. That percentage increases significantly on vehicles that didn't receive frequent oil changes with the correct specification oil. The repair requires removing the engine from the vehicle in many cases, which drives up labor costs dramatically. Timing chain replacement on the XJ's V8 ranges from $6,000 to $9,000, depending on how much associated damage occurred. If you catch it early with just chain and guide replacement, you might stay at the lower end. If the chain skipped and bent valves, you're looking at $10,000 to $14,000 for a complete cylinder head rebuild. The air suspension system is another major expense. These cars ride on electronically controlled air springs at all 4 corners. When the air springs develop leaks or the compressor fails, the car sits low and the ride quality deteriorates. Replacing all 4 air springs with the compressor costs $4,000 to $6,000. Many owners convert to conventional coil springs to avoid this recurring expense, but that affects resale value. Electrical problems plague these vehicles after 100,000 miles. The infotainment system fails repeatedly, requiring module replacement at $1,500 to $2,500. Parking sensors and cameras malfunction, costing $800 to $1,400 to repair. The electronic parking brake system seizes, needing caliper and actuator replacement at $1,200 to $1,800 per axle. Annual maintenance costs after 100,000 miles average $3,400 according to repair cost data. Parts availability is a concern because Jaguar's dealer network is limited compared to German luxury brands. This means longer wait times and potentially higher parts markup. But number 6 has even higher annual maintenance costs documented. Number 6. The Mercedes-Benz S-Class, specifically the W221 generation from 2007 to 2013. This flagship luxury sedan depreciates dramatically, making used examples tempting, but the ownership costs after 100,000 miles explain that steep depreciation. The most expensive issue involves the air suspension system, which Mercedes calls Airmatic. This system uses air springs at all four corners with electronic damping control. The problem is that every component in this system has a finite lifespan, and they all start failing around 100,000 miles. The air springs develop leaks in the rubber bladders, the air compressor wears out from constant cycling, the air distribution valves inside the system leak internally. Owner complaints indicate that approximately 60% of these vehicles require significant air suspension work before 110,000 miles. When the system fails, the car drops to the bump stops and the ride quality becomes harsh and uncomfortable. You'll also get constant warning messages on the dashboard. Replacing all four air springs costs $3,500 to $5,000. The air compressor is another $1,800 to $2,400. The complete system overhaul, including all struts, the compressor, and associated valves, runs $6,000 to $9,000. Many owners choose to convert to conventional coil spring suspension for $3,000 to $4,000, but this eliminates one of the car's key luxury features and hurts resale value. The other major concern is the engine, particularly on V8 and V12 models. These engines develop oil leaks from multiple areas, including the valve covers, oil cooler seals, and rear main seal. Oil consumption becomes excessive, sometimes requiring a quart every 500 miles. Carbon buildup on the intake valves reduces performance and fuel economy. Addressing all the oil leaks costs $3,000 to $5,000 in labor-intensive repairs. Cleaning the carbon from the intake valves requires removing the cylinder heads, adding another $2,500 to $4,000. If you have a V12, double many of these costs because you're working on twice as many cylinders. The ABC, active body control suspension, found on higher-end models, presents even worse problems. This hydraulic suspension system provides exceptional ride quality, but fails catastrophically. ABC pump replacement costs $4,000 to $6,000. Hydraulic lines and accumulators fail, adding another $2,000 to $4,000. Total ABC system repairs can exceed $10,000. According to Repair Cost Analysis, annual maintenance for an S-Class after 100,000 miles averages $3,800. That's assuming no major component failures. Factor in air suspension or ABC repairs, and you could spend $10,000 in a single year. Quick reminder, if this information is helping you avoid a costly mistake, show some support with a like and subscribe. I analyze luxury car reliability and costs weekly. Now back to the list, because number 5 is where things get really expensive.
Number 5. The Porsche Cayenne, first and second generation models from 2003 to 2017. This luxury SUV offers impressive performance, but certain issues after 100,000 miles are concerning from an ownership cost perspective. The biggest problem involves the coolant pipes, particularly on V8 models. Porsche routed plastic coolant pipes through the valley of the engine between the cylinder banks. These pipes become brittle over time from constant heat cycling. When they crack, coolant leaks directly onto the transmission, creating a serious mess. The repair requires removing the engine or dropping the entire engine and transmission assembly from underneath. Reliability data indicates that approximately 50% of V8 Cayennes experience coolant pipe failure between 80,000 and 120,000 miles. This isn't a matter of if, but when. The plastic simply cannot withstand the constant heat exposure over time. Replacing the coolant pipes costs $5,000 to $8,000 because of the extensive labor involved. You're paying for 12 to 16 hours of technician time at Porsche dealer rates of $180 to $220 per hour. Upgraded metal replacement pipes are available and recommended, adding about $800 to the parts cost, but preventing recurrence. The air suspension system also fails commonly after 100,000 miles. Replacing all 4 air springs and related components costs $4,000 to $6,500. The transfer case, which routes power between front and rear axles, develops internal wear and leaks. Transfer case replacement runs $4,500 to $7,000. On models with the Tiptronic automatic transmission, failure rates increase significantly after 100,000 miles.
These transmissions experience valve body problems, clutch pack wear, and torque converter issues. A complete transmission rebuild costs $6,000 to $9,000. Replacement with a remanufactured unit can exceed $10,000. The direct injection fuel system causes additional concerns. Carbon buildup on the intake valves reduces power and causes rough idle. Walnut blasting to clean the valves costs $800 to $1,500. High-pressure fuel pump failure is common, adding $1,800 to $2,500 for replacement. Annual maintenance costs after 100,000 miles average $4,200 according to cost analysis data. Porsche dealership labor rates and parts prices are among the highest in the industry. Independent Porsche specialists offer lower rates but still charge premium prices compared to general repair shops. This next one honestly shocked me when I saw the repair frequency data.
Number 4. The Audi A8, 2004 to 2010 models. This flagship luxury sedan competes with the Mercedes S-Class and BMW 7 Series, but reliability after 100,000 miles raises serious concerns. The most expensive issue involves the timing chain system in the 4.2-liter V8 engine. This engine uses a complex timing chain setup with multiple chains, tensioners, and guides. The plastic chain guides deteriorate from constant oil exposure and heat cycling. When they break, pieces circulate through the engine, causing catastrophic damage. The timing chain can then jump or break, resulting in piston-to-valve contact. Owner reports indicate that approximately 40% of these V8 engines require timing chain service before 110,000 miles. The warning signs include a rattling noise on cold start that disappears after the engine warms up. By the time you hear this noise, damage may already be occurring. Many owners ignore the sound because it goes away, not realizing they're on borrowed time. Replacing the timing chains, guides, and tensioners costs $6,000 to $9,000. If internal engine damage occurred, you're looking at $12,000 to $18,000 for a complete engine rebuild or replacement. The repair requires removing the front of the engine and involves 18 to 24 hours of labor. The air suspension system presents another major expense. Audi's adaptive air suspension uses electronic air springs and adaptive dampers. These components fail regularly after 100,000 miles. Air spring replacement costs $1,200 to $1,800 per corner. The air compressor fails at $1,500 to $2,200 for replacement. Most owners face $4,000 to $7,000 in air suspension repairs. The multimedia interface system, which controls most vehicle functions, fails frequently. The control module requires replacement at $2,000 to $3,500. Climate control problems develop when the control unit fails, costing $1,200 to $1,800 to replace. The parking brake module seizes, requiring replacement at $800 to $1,400. Transmission problems emerge on models with the ZF 6-speed automatic. Valve body failures cause harsh shifting and slipping. Transmission service costs $5,000 to $8,000 for major repairs. The Quattro all-wheel drive system develops issues with the center differential and transfer case, costing $3,500 to $5,500 to repair. According to repair cost data, annual maintenance after 100,000 miles averages $4,600. That places the A8 among the most expensive luxury sedans to maintain. Parts are expensive and often must come from the dealer. Labor rates at Audi dealerships are high, and independent shops may refuse timing chain work due to complexity. But as expensive as that timing chain work is, number 3 takes it to another level.
Number 3. The BMW 7 Series, specifically E65 and E66 models from 2002 to 2008, and F01 models from 2009 to 2015. These flagship sedans depreciate dramatically, making them tempting purchases. But the reliability data after 100,000 miles explains why values drop so severely. The most concerning issue involves the valve stem seals in the N62 V8 engine. These seals prevent oil from leaking into the combustion chambers. As they age and harden, they lose their sealing ability. Oil consumption becomes excessive, often requiring multiple quarts between oil changes. Drivers notice blue smoke from the exhaust on startup or during acceleration. Reliability studies indicate that approximately 70% of N62 engines develop significant oil consumption issues before 120,000 miles. This isn't a minor problem. Excessive oil consumption leads to carbon buildup on pistons and valves, reduced compression, and eventual engine failure if not addressed. Replacing the valve stem seals requires removing both cylinder heads from the engine. You're looking at $7,000 to $11,000 for this repair. If carbon buildup damaged the cylinders or pistons, costs increase to $12,000 to $18,000 for complete engine rebuild. Many owners choose used engine replacement at $8,000 to $12,000, including installation. The other major concern is the electrical system and electronic modules. The 7 Series has more electronic control units than most luxury cars. The iDrive system fails, requiring module replacement at $2,500 to $4,000. The Comfort Access system, which handles keyless entry, malfunctions at $1,500 to $2,500 to repair. Parking sensors fail repeatedly at $800 to $1,400. The air conditioning system experiences electronic control failures at $1,800 to $2,800 to repair. Transmission problems develop on both 6-speed and 8-speed automatic transmissions. Mechatronic sleeve failures on the 6-speed cause harsh shifting and limp mode. Repair costs run $3,500 to $5,500. The 8-speed ZF transmission develops valve body problems at $2,500 to $4,000 for replacement. Active steering system failures occur frequently after 100,000 miles. This system adds electronic steering assistance to improve handling. When it fails, you get warning lights and reduced steering assistance. Repair costs range from $2,500 to $4,500, depending on which components failed. The air suspension system, found on many 7 Series models, follows the same pattern as other German luxury cars. Complete system failure requiring all new components costs $6,000 to $9,000. Electronic damping control systems fail at $1,500 to $2,500 per corner. Annual maintenance costs after 100,000 miles average $5,200 according to repair cost analysis. That's before factoring in the valve stem seal repair most owners need. A single year of ownership could easily cost $15,000 if major repairs are needed. Parts are expensive and often dealer-only. Labor rates at BMW dealerships are among the highest in the industry. If you thought that was bad, wait till you hear about number 2.
Number 2. The Cadillac Escalade, 2007 to 2014 models. This American luxury SUV seems like it would be more reliable than European competitors, but the ownership costs after 100,000 miles are surprisingly high. The biggest issue involves the active fuel management system, which deactivates half the cylinders during light load conditions to improve fuel economy. This system causes multiple problems. The valve lifters that enable cylinder deactivation fail frequently. When a lifter fails, it stops collapsing properly, causing a loud ticking noise and potential engine damage. Owner reports indicate that approximately 45% of these engines experience lifter failure before 120,000 miles. The problem worsens if owners don't use the correct oil specification or extend oil change intervals. Metal shavings from the failing lifter circulate through the engine, potentially damaging bearings and other components. Replacing the lifters requires removing the cylinder heads. You're looking at $4,000 to $6,500 for this repair. If the camshaft lobes wore from the failing lifter, add another $2,000 to $3,500 for camshaft replacement. If metal contamination damaged the main or rod bearings, you need a complete engine rebuild at $8,000 to $12,000. The transmission, a 6-speed automatic, experiences internal failures after 100,000 miles. Torque converter shutter becomes noticeable during light acceleration. Harsh shifting and slipping occur as clutch packs wear. Transmission rebuild costs $4,000 to $6,500. Replacement with a remanufactured unit runs $5,500 to $8,000. Electrical problems are common on these vehicles. The electronic suspension control module fails at $1,200 to $2,000.
Door lock actuators fail repeatedly at $400 to $700 per door. The transfer case encoder motor, which controls four-wheel drive operation, fails at $800 to $1,400. Liftgate electronics malfunction, requiring module replacement at $600 to $1,200. The air conditioning system develops issues with the electronic climate control head unit. Replacement costs $800 to $1,500. Blend door actuators fail, causing clicking noises and improper temperature control. Replacing all actuators costs $600 to $1,100. Dashboard warning lights illuminate frequently for various sensor failures. Oxygen sensors fail at $250 to $450 each, and you have 4 of them. Mass airflow sensor failure costs $350 to $600. Throttle position sensor issues add another $400 to $700. According to repair cost data, annual maintenance costs after 100,000 miles average $3,600. That's surprisingly high for a domestic luxury vehicle. The active fuel management system's inherent design flaws make engine repairs likely, not just possible. Many owners have the system permanently disabled at $1,000 to $1,500 to prevent future lifter failures. And now, the #1 luxury car with the most concerning ownership costs after 100,000 miles. The vehicle that consistently ranks at the bottom of reliability surveys and has repair bills that shock even experienced mechanics.
Number 1. The Range Rover, specifically 2006 to 2012 models. This British luxury SUV offers impressive capability and prestige, but according to reliability data, it has some of the worst ownership costs in the entire luxury segment after 100,000 miles. Consumer Reports gave multiple Range Rover model years reliability ratings of 1 out of 5, the lowest possible score. The sheer number of problem areas is overwhelming. Let's start with the engine. The 4.4-liter V8 experiences timing chain guide failure, similar to other vehicles on this list. But Range Rover's implementation is particularly problematic. The chains stretch, the guides break, and internal engine damage follows. Owner reports indicate that approximately 55% of these engines require major timing work before 110,000 miles. Timing chain replacement costs $6,500 to $10,000. If internal damage occurred, engine rebuild or replacement runs $15,000 to $22,000. That's more than many used Range Rovers are worth at higher mileage. The air suspension system fails at an alarming rate. All 4 air springs commonly need replacement at $5,000 to $8,000. The air compressor fails repeatedly at $2,000 to $3,500 for replacement. The entire system is controlled by electronic modules that also fail, adding another $1,500 to $2,500. Total air suspension repairs often exceed $10,000. Transmission problems are nearly inevitable. The ZF 6-speed automatic develops valve body failures, torque converter problems, and clutch pack wear. Major transmission service costs $5,000 to $8,500. Complete replacement runs $10,000 to $14,000. The electrical system is where Range Rover truly struggles. The vehicles experience what owners call electrical gremlins that are difficult to diagnose and expensive to repair. The terrain response system fails at $2,500 to $4,000. The navigation and infotainment system crashes repeatedly, requiring module replacement at $2,000 to $3,500. Parking sensors fail at $1,200 to $2,000 to replace. Camera systems malfunction at $1,500 to $2,500. Water leaks are a chronic problem. Sunroof drains clog, causing water to pour into the interior. The body control module, located in a spot prone to water damage, fails when it gets wet. Replacement costs $1,800 to $3,000. Carpet and interior components develop mold and must be replaced at $1,500 to $3,000. The transfer case, which distributes power between front and rear axles, develops internal failures. Replacement costs $4,500 to $7,000. The rear differential fails, adding another $3,000 to $5,000.
Front suspension components wear rapidly, with complete replacement of control arms, bushings, and ball joints costing $2,500 to $4,000. Brake problems extend beyond normal wear. The electronic parking brake system seizes, requiring complete caliper replacement at $1,500 to $2,500 per axle. The ABS control module fails at $1,800 to $2,800. According to repair cost analysis, annual maintenance costs for a Range Rover after 100,000 miles average $6,800. That's the highest of any luxury vehicle commonly available on the used market. But that average doesn't tell the full story. In a year when major systems fail, owners can easily spend $15,000 to $25,000 in repairs. Parts availability is a significant concern. Many components must come from dealerships or specialized importers. Wait times of several weeks are common for certain parts. Labor rates at Land Rover dealerships are among the highest in the industry, often exceeding $200 per hour. The combination of frequent failures, expensive parts, high labor rates, and poor parts availability makes the Range Rover the most expensive luxury vehicle to own after 100,000 miles. Mechanics frequently tell potential buyers to avoid these vehicles once the warranty expires. The reliability data supports that advice.